I've known Pastor Italiano. We moved here into Crete in 1997. He started here in 1999. So actually, we were here a couple years before him, but I actually had known him or knew of him prior to that. When a lot of you people don't know, we lived in Milwaukee before we came to Crete, and I was a member of the Lutheran chorus in Milwaukee, Lutheran Chorale in Milwaukee. And we had two concerts a year, and one must have been 1996 maybe, I don't remember the year. In the spring we had normally got some people to help us do the accompaniment to some of our songs. So we had some strings on one song, we had some brass on one song, we had some percussion on another song. So we had all these different musical instruments set up, and we had like 3 guys there. They all came from the seminary to help us do all the music. And I said, well, who is going to play all of these instruments? There's, all the different ones. So I saw this one guy, little guy, just running around. He was doing this and that, and I said, wow, that guy is amazing. And then we came to Crete, and we got an assignment. And they said, we have been assigned Pastor Frank Italiano. And I said, okay, who's this guy? So when I saw his picture, oh, that's the guy. I said, we had a good one coming. So I was very pleased. So we really like to thank Pastor Italiano for everything he's done for us, and welcome him. So thank you.
I usually talk better after I eat, but I'll do the best I can. Thank you. Thank you for permitting us and inviting us to be part of this special celebration today. This is really great. Since it's a pastor that we're celebrating, I have a theological question for us today, and that is, how long can you be close to a sin before it becomes dangerous? And I'll explain why I ask that. I have a Facebook account, although I have never posted anything on it. But I have one. And so this allows me to see some of the services from Trinity that are streamed. So I watch them, and when I see Pastor Italiano come out into the sanctuary or down the aisle, and he turns around and he has this warm smile on his face, and it is just evident that he enjoys being a pastor. And so I envy Pastor Italiano a bit, since I'm no longer in the ministry. And then I listen to him preach, and it's evident that he has a special place in his heart for the people of Trinity. And I envy him a bit, because I remember what it was like to be part of the family of believers at Trinity. And I get the Trinity e-tidings and the home tidings, and so I read about so many of the exciting and wonderful things that are happening at Trinity. And again, I envy Pastor Italiano a bit to serve such an exciting congregation, because I remember what that was like. And having been here yesterday for a family wedding, and at worship this morning, and now here this afternoon, I have to tell you that envy has grown exponentially. And I also have to say that I always felt rather passionately that worship, no matter what kind it was, whether it's traditional or blended or contemporary, the most important thing is that it needed to be done well. And I was at the 9:30 service this morning, and I have not been at a service done that well for a long time. It was wonderful. So as I ponder all this, this is troublesome. Because I have all this envy. And envy, of course, can become sinful. So how long can you remain in envy before it becomes dangerous? I have to get rid of this envy. And I have found a way to do so. When I start envying Pastor Italiano, I simply remind myself, that poor man has 20 more years to go. Pastor Italiano, to love the ministry, to love the congregation God has entrusted to you, to be loved by your congregation as is evident today, those are special blessings from the Lord. And to the family of believers at Trinity, to have a pastor that serves you faithfully, to have a pastor whom you appreciate and love, those are special blessings from the Lord. May God grant Trinity and Pastor Italiano and family many more years of those special blessings. Enjoy them and celebrate them.
So thank you also for the opportunity to be here today. It's a great privilege to see many of you again and be with you and worship with you, and great to be here to celebrate this wonderful occasion. So when I was thinking about when they asked me to speak here, I asked my wife, for some suggestions or thoughts about, what I might say. And she said, well, why don't you just tell them that your talk today will not be as long as one of your sermons? She's always such an encourager. Actually, she just loves to give me grief. In regard to Pastor Italiano, I remember when we first came, Pastor was, welcoming us and welcoming us, showing us around the church and giving us some tips and things. And one of the things he said, so when you were considering the call here, did anybody ever talk to you about the water? And I said, no, well, what's with the water? And well, he said, well, picture it this way. He said, a couple weeks ago, Saturday night, we were getting our kids ready for bed. They were going to take a little tubber, and so we drew water for the tub, got about half full, and we couldn't see the bottom of the tub anymore. Oh, okay. And he said, and one other tip, just be sure, you don't do laundry the same day they're flushing the hydrants. Okay, all right. Appreciate the advice. Got any other advice for us? And he said, well, did anybody ever tell you about the trains? No, okay. Well, seriously though, Frank did a great job, all of you did, in welcoming us here to Trinity. It's still a very fond memory for all of us. Frank was very patient with me initially, learning the ropes here and everything. I know I never would have got my start in my movie career without Frank, so appreciate that. But it was a great privilege serving here with Frank over the year. He's very hardworking, dedicated. It's a great heart for people, just a tremendous blessing. And besides having the privilege of working with him here, I think I also made a friend during those years. So it's just been a wonderful privilege. So together, with you today, we thank God for the opportunity to serve you, and thank God for the privilege of serving with Frank, and thank God for his service here at Trinity over the years, and we only wish them God's continued blessings.
This may seem like an odd statement for a pastor, but I'm not used to being in front of people like this. Really not. The first thing I've been told to do is there's like some kind of trivia thing on your tables, so I'm supposed to go through the answers. I knew nothing other than I should show up today for food, so yeah. Okay, so some of these questions I had to check with my wife because, just to make sure. Okay, so Where did Pastor Italiano grow up? La Crosse, Wisconsin, right in the Mississippi River. What is Pastor's favorite fruit? Fruit and color, orange. How many instruments can Pastor play? This is the one I had to check my wife because she's the one that gave the answers. So it is 5. If you count, okay, so violin, tuba, trombone, bass guitar, and then handbells. Those are the 5.
About percussion.
Play drum.
Yeah, so
And timpani.
yeah, so you can kazoo,
I had 6. Tambourine.
tambourine. Where did Pastor work at seminary? There are actually 2 answers to that, but the one that's here is T.J. Hale. T.J. Hale is a company up in Mequon area that they make fixtures for like coal stores and things like that. The other one, and this was only for a few months, and I actually who was I talking to about this? I think it was Seamus Hammer, wherever they are. A place that made cement light poles. I have more stories from that unsafe environment. There's a skunk story. There's a story of a guy welding something while standing in a pool of gasoline. There's a story of me falling off a flatbed on top of a pile of snow. Oh yeah, lots of good stories. Okay. Number 5, where did Pastor meet Gretchen?
Airport.
O'Hare Airport.
Going to a wedding.
On the way to the same wedding out in California, that was November of '99. So I came in July, that was just a few months later. Did Pastor know Gretchen before he came to Crete then? No, because we met at O'Hare. Where did Pastor propose to Gretchen at? At a beach on Lake Michigan. Where did Pastor live when he first came to Crete? Mobile home. Some of you have been around for a while, remember that, yep. Mobile home was actually part of a estate given to Trinity, if I remember right, back 20 years ago. What city was Pastor's church at his vicar year? Vicar year is intern year? Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Awesome year. Still have some really close friends from that year. And at the ice cream social at Trinity for the skit, what character did Pastor play? You saw there's a picture there. So Pastor Stellick, myself, and Mr. Blauert, and I guess I was the fudgesicle. There you go. I don't think there are any prizes for that. Alright, so I guess there's still some more things coming here, but before that I just want to say a few comments. First of all, thank you for all those involved in organizing today. Sometimes we don't have enough fun to just have fun and celebrate and get together, so this is awesome. Just leave me out of this. This is just awesome to get together as a family of believers. You know, I don't know how to say this. Thank you for being my family. It is interesting with timing. Just a week or 2 ago, I was cleaning out my old closet here at church, because I still have some things in the old closet before I moved offices. And so it was the back of the closet, which means it was the first thing in there, which was from 15 years ago when this building was built, and it had not been touched since. And it was a binder of agendas of meetings, and here is July 12th, 1999, Board of Elders agenda. This is the first meeting I was at. And it has John Stellick's all written over it. Because the Bible study, the agenda and everything, it's just fascinating to look back and see that. And although a whole lot has changed in 20 years, the opening Bible study and the work of being about God's kingdom has not. And that has nothing to do with pastors, that has everything to do with this congregation and the leadership and what we are all about. And that's awesome. thank you for being my family, our family here. I do want to say something, 20 years as a pastor in one place is I don't know, it's not unheard of, but it's not exactly common either. But I also want to say Crete and Trinity is special enough that I'm not the only one that's been here 20 years. There have been a fair number of our teachers who have been here way longer than me. Archers, Rimples, Miss Shuppy, the Spizers, Allenbrox were here more than 20 years. This is a good place to serve. This is a good place to be, and it's a good place to call home. So thank you very much for today. I really did not have to do anything like this. Was not expecting this, but thank you so much. And the last thank you I'm going to give is just to my wife and kids.
We got Gretchen over here.
Thank you. My kids and my wife. Thank you. Okay, I'm supposed to open this up now?
Yes. If you can figure it out.
This present is where it's at.
That's very
The
nice.
force is strong with this present.
It's a Star Wars looking box.
So, if you haven't figured it out, I tend to like Star Wars and Star Trek and science fiction. So you guys got that. Okay. So, season passes for Six Flags. Thank you. Thank you.
And then a whole bunch of stuff.
And a tree that has Marcus Theater, oh, movies. And BP, and Star Wars in December. And BP, and, oh, wow, thank you. And Hotels.com, Ticketmaster, Shell, thank you. Cool.
Our thought is
And Oreos.
and Gretchen, this is for you.
And then Pastor, I volunteered my babysitting services if you need to stay overnight.
It's a gift card for a little R&R, which is a salon at downtown Crete. To get your nails and oh, for a mani-pedi or your choice.
There you go. Thank you.
That's our first year. Yeah, let's just kind of go with that. It's a whole, I don't know, flight of nail colors.
All right, thank you. That's it? Okay. Thank you, everyone. I think there's a whole lot of food still out there.
Yep,
So
desserts.
please eat up, enjoy company, and yeah, thank you. Thank you.